Hi Year 5, it's me again, and it's chapter 14 of the Jamie Drake equation. When I get back, Mum's waiting for me at the kitchen table. "Where did you disappear to?" she asked, the sharp tone in her voice telling me I'm in trouble. "I've been worried sick. I sent you a text half an hour ago but didn't get any reply. What's the point of you having a phone if I can't get hold of you?" I didn't see anything, but just pushed my mobile phone deeper into my pocket, out of sight. Professor Forster wanted to keep hold of it to find out more about Buzz. I just did a runner from the observatory before she could take it off my hands. It's my phone. I walked straight past Mum, heading for the fridge to see if there's anything left to eat. "Jamie," Mum says, sharpening the sound of my name so it ends with an exclamation mark. "I'm talking to you." "But you're not," I snap, turning round to face her at last. "Not about the things that really matter, like the fact that you and Dad are splitting up." Mum looked shocked, her hand rising to her face almost like a shield. "You heard us talking on the video call," she says, her voice suddenly drained of volume, so I have to strain to catch the words. "About the divorce." I nod my head, trying to fight back my tears. "Oh, Jamie," Mum says, getting up from her chair and reaching out to give me a hug. "I didn't want you to find out this way. Your dad and I wanted to tell you together." "I don't want a hug, I just want answers." "Why does it matter how I found out?" I explode. "You're still getting divorced." "Jamie, don't shout," Mum says, trying to keep her voice calm. "Your granddad's upstairs giving Charlie a bath. I don't want you upsetting your sister." I think about my little sister and how she's going to feel when she finds out the truth about Mum and Dad. A horrible thought creeps into my head. "What's going to happen to us?" I ask, wiping my eyes with the edge of my sleeve. "Who are Charlie and me going to live with?" "Well, these things are all to be properly decided," Mum says, "but your dad and I both think that it makes more sense for you and Charlie to stay here with me and Grandad." I feel like I've just been punched in the stomach. "But Dad's coming home next week," I protest. "Where's he going to stay?" "Your dad's going to have to follow an intensive rehabilitation programme to get him back used to life back here on Earth," Mum explains. "For the first month, he'll be living in special quarters on the Air Force base. It's just half an hour's drive from here." I think about all the different Air Force bases we've lived on as a family, never staying in one place long enough for me to make any real friends. Dad's training trips take him halfway around the world, away for weeks at a time. As I try to make sense of what's happening to us, all I can see inside my head are pictures of Dad saying goodbye. It's my job to keep an eye on the Drake family solar system and make sure that everything kept spinning safely until Dad got home. What did I miss? "Your dad still loves you, Jamie," Mum tells me, taking hold of my hand in her own. I can feel her fingers trembling next to mine, her empty words hanging in the air between us. "We both do. You know that, don't you?" I shake my head, tears stinging my eyes again. "I don't care," I say, snatching my hands away. "I just wanted you to tell me the truth." Slamming the door behind me, I race up the stairs, 2 at a time. I need to get inside my room before I start falling apart. So that's the end of chapter 14. Bye.
Okay, Year 5, so we're carrying on our English writing. So we have done the takeoff, we have done travelling through space. So today we're going to do landing on a planet. And the same again, I've found this video, it's called A Walk on Venus from the BBC series Space Odyssey. So to give you some inspiration, to give you some ideas, you need to pause this video now, go to the link, it's in the description box, and have a look at this, which is a CGI, so it's not real obviously because humans haven't visited Venus, but it'll give you an idea about the landing, because that's something you want to think about. They land in the different module and the legs go down, so you'll see that in the video. Then I want you to think about how you might travel across the planet. So you might be in a space buggy, you might be just walking around, and then also you need to think about your senses again. So here you are, you're in your spacesuit, using your senses. What can you see, what can you hear, all of those things on this planet. So for your writing today, we're carrying on, aren't we? So on Monday, you've written about the takeoff, and on Tuesday, you would have written about travelling through space. So the TLP is the same. It's still writing using those words so that you're using connections within your paragraph. So one of the things you need to make sure that you're doing is that where you've ended your paragraph, the next one is going to make sense. So today, hopefully you should have watched the Space Odyssey video and had some ideas. So today you're going to write what it's like to land on the planet. So we can think about using your senses, the things that you could see. And like I said, you could think about them riding around maybe on a buggy or any of those things. I'm going to start you off. What we're not going to do is finish our story. We're going to leave it on a cliffhanger when we see what could potentially maybe be an alien. But then we're going to leave it with an ellipsis, a dot, dot, dot. So first of all, I'm going to think about the bigger picture. So I'm going to write, I was literally, remember it's the first person, I was literally in another world. I was literally in another world, comma, thoughts of Earth. And I'm going to say millions. I mean, I don't know, but I'm going to say millions of miles away, because I think that's a good opening sentence to my paragraph, and hopefully it sets some atmosphere and lets the writer know how I'm feeling about that. So I'm thinking about, I'm going to go straight to walking on the planet, I think. So you might want to include the landing. For my example here, I'm just going to go straight to this just to give you some ideas. So at first, and that's one of my words I can use for cohesion, because that's telling me what I'm doing first on the planet, isn't it? At first, I thought. At first, I thought about each move I made, knowing. I'm thinking about Neil Armstrong here, knowing that I was the first human to step foot there. So there we are, we're telling the writer that I'm the first person there. So after that, I need you to describe the planet. Now, last week's lesson, you did describe a planet and you did edit that work. So you could use that. If you think actually that wasn't very good and you want to have another go, or if you're inspired by the video, describe that planet. What do you see? What do you hear? What do you smell? Think about what you can touch. Obviously, you're in your spacesuit. But think about those things. So I want you to write about the planet that you're on. So I'm going to leave that section there for you to do. And then towards the end, after you've described that, I want you to think about meeting this alien. So suddenly, I feel like that's another word from our list. Suddenly, from behind. And actually, I think when I described the planet, I think I did the glacial, the snow and ice covered planet. So I'm going to use that again today. So suddenly, from behind the icy mountain. From behind the icy mountain, I saw and I'm going to think of lots of, I think there's going to be lots of these creatures, not one. Oh, so I'm going to use the word horde. That's a lot of them. So I saw a horde of, I'm going to say magnificent. Magnificent. Creatures, I'm going to call them, because I'm not sure at the moment what they are. A horde of magnificent creatures, and they're going to be flying, I think. Flying towards me at great speed. Dot, dot, dot. So I'm going to leave mine there. You might get to actually meet the alien. But I want you to leave the story in a suspenseful way. So at some point there's a cliffhanger. So suddenly from behind the icy mountain, I saw a horde of magnificent creatures flying towards me at great speed. Dot, dot, dot. So that's the section you're writing today. It needs to flow on from your first two. And again, I'm expecting probably a page, if not more, that you can write about this planet, because you can use what we did last week, you can use the video, and you can use my modelling. So I look forward to hearing about your landings on Zoom.